What's up, everybody? This may make for a boring video. If so, I apologize up front. But I thought this was really interesting in the realm of word magic, something that I've seen some people just go way too far with, making all kinds of associations that really don't jive. But this is pretty undeniable that Jinn, Gen, is referring to humans or some aspect thereof. And though it's spelled different from the spirit Jinn, Djinn, this all comes from the same root word and most likely the same root language. If you try, you can actually read bits and pieces of all kinds of languages because they just swap out one letter, like a T for a B, and they sound slightly different, but you can tell it's the same word. So before we get into it, I want to give a shout out to Driven Mad and anybody else out there that has a rough time around Christmas. It happens for a lot of people, myself included. So I'm glad I can put out a little something that helps. And hey, we can all be alone together. So let me do a brief description of the Jinn in Islam, and then I'll tell you the punchline, and we can look at the words starting with Jinn. The Jinn were Allah's first creation. They were made of a smokeless fire, and they populated the entire earth, had different religions, different languages, different nations. There were good ones, there were bad ones. They were a whole race of beings like humans that were here first, and then they started getting brutal in their warfare and whatnot, and then Allah decides to wipe them out. But there's one Jinn named Iblis, which they portray like this or like this, that worshiped Allah throughout the seven heavens, moved up to the highest heaven among the angels. He was even a Jinn role in the heavenly army and helped wipe out all of the other Jinn. So he was a big shot in heaven. Then Allah molds Adam out of clay and tells all the angels that he's going to be the next big thing. So Iblis gets really jealous. Then Allah breathes life into Adam. He comes to life and he tells all the angels in heaven to bow down. And they all do instantly, except for Iblis. And Allah asks, why aren't you bowing? He says, I am not bowing down to this. I am better than this. This is a lump of clay, and I am made of a smokeless fire. So then Iblis gets cursed and becomes the shayateen, and basically vows to corrupt humanity. Now, it's said that Allah created 10 times what is in our physical world in the Jinn world. So there was an entire earth filled with these smokeless fire beings that I'm assuming have a soul. Where did they go after all this? Did they go to Jinn heaven and Jinn hell? Well, Iblis worked his way up through the seven heavens and made it up to the highest heaven where the angels are. So there's only one heaven for man and Jinn. But is that where the souls of all of the Jinn went? Did they make that journey too? Or are all the souls of the Jinn still here? Well, with that question in mind, let's get to the Genesis of mankind. So a Jinn-E is a magic spirit believed to take human form and serve the person who calls it. So what you generally think of when you hear Jinn. So then Genesis is the origin of coming into being. And we generally use this as the beginning of mankind. And we're just going to keep going and hit some pattern recognition here. Jinn, offspring or race. So what were the Jinn before humanity? A race of beings, or actually it sounds like many different species of beings that lived here. And a genus is the different types of Jinn. Also, Jinn can be used as producer or kind of the driving energy behind something, or the spirit that makes something work. Gender, what sex of Jinn are you? A gene is the base code of DNA that decides what type of Jinn you're going to be. A genealogy is a list of all of the Jinns, the descent of the genes in your bloodline. And this is what they used to call history. They just called it the genealogies, or also genealogy, the study of the Jinn. General, involving, relating to, or applicable to every member of a class, kind, or group. So if you're general, you're just like all of the other Jinn. There's nothing original or a Jinn. Oh, sorry, I'll try not to do that too much. But this word is kind of paradoxical because it can mean relating to the whole, or it can mean a high-ranking, holding superior rank 5-star general. Generalize, again, you're just like all the other Jinn. Generate, to bring into existence. And if you think about it, in Jinn, it is an inanimate object that generates power. So it's kind of like it has a spirit, a Jinn inside it in Jinn. But then it goes a little further than that and tends to mean of good character as well. If you're generous, then you're an open giving Jinn, or marked by abundance. There's a lot of Jinn. And like I said at the beginning, Allah was supposed to have made 10 times in the Jinn world what we have in the human world. If you are genial, then you're marked by or freely expressing sympathy or friendliness. So again, you're a good Jinn. Also displaying or marked by genius. Nowadays, we use genius as you're a really smart Jinn, but classical writers had a very different meaning for it, which we'll get to in a second. But here we've got genius as an attendant spirit of a person or place, or a person who influences another for good or for bad. Now, in Roman mythology, they described the genius as the individual instance of a general divine nature that is present in every individual person, place, or thing. So that's describing it kind of like we would say the spirit of the mountain. But when classical writers use this term, they meant it as an actual spiritual entity. Like, isn't that the thing in The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe where you have a genius, a animal spirit that follows you everywhere? It's in one of those. But here they say a tutelary god or attendant spirit allotted to each person at birth to govern his or her fortunes and determine personal character. And finally, to conduct him or her out of the world. Also, a guardian spirit associated with a place. So it's kind of like we would say a guardian angel, where biblical angels always scared the hell out of everybody. And I don't think you'd want one looking over your shoulder all the time. To the Sumerians, this was a Lamassu, the guardian angel of the city. And there's all kinds of warnings not to anger the angels in the Bible. And the first thing they say when a person meets them is, "Be not afraid, little puny human." But somehow we've transformed this into some cute, cuddly little things. But here's what I've always thought about that idea is that kind of sucks for the angel, right? They just have to follow you around all the time. So what if this isn't a spirit that's assigned to you? It's your spirit that's assigned to this body. And if you tap into your inner genius, that is letting the spark of the divine shine through. Just what if? But yeah, I think genius has long meant coming from an intelligence outside of you. What about a Gentile? Anyone that is not a gray? They do say that they are the only ones to have the spark of the divine creator within them. So are they saying here that they are descendants of the true Adam and everybody else is of the Jinn? There's a thought. I'm not sure if this is portraying Adam and Eve. It kind of looks like it is a bunch of angels and then Adam and Eve, and they draw them as having that fire within, that smokeless fire. I have no idea if that's what this picture is of, but it made some sense to me, as did this. But once again, we have genteel as having an aristocratic quality, elegant or graceful in manner, appearance, or shape. Gentle, free from harshness, sternness, or violence. Gentlefolk are persons of gentle or good family and breeding. And if you're a gentleman, you're a man of noble or gentle birth. And I'm pretty sure they're saying gentle and not gentile there. Maybe saying it wrong, though. Also, a man of independent means who does not engage in any occupation or profession for gain. Not a whole lot of gentlemen left in the world, is there? You know, a lot of the people that owned other people and had these people they owned do all their work also had them take care of their finances because it was seen as beneath them. So they kind of managed to ungentle the world. But all of these usages of Jinn is meaning of good quality and character. But anyway, Jinn is used to mean human basically all over the place and used to mean the spirit or driving force behind something. So I don't know, that may have been the worst video ever. Hopefully it came across to where you at least see where I'm coming from with this because it seems like the original usage of this word meant human and or spirit, like the drink gin, or to imagine, to conjure something up in your mind. Anyway, that's enough out of me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Static out.